The Indiana Pacers win Game 6. Whatever the score was to whatever the score was. I don't know the final score. It doesn't matter. They won by 20 plus. The Pacers win the series against the New York Knicks in 6 games. They will advance to the NBA Finals against the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Western Conference champions. Yeah, this game by the Knicks. I'll start. How many turnovers did they have? A
Too
lot.
many.
So that just goes to show you, you know, what happens when you commit turnovers against the Pacers. You lose.
Mm-hmm.
And when your defense, when Andrew Nemhart turns into prime Gary Payton, we have a lot of problems. When we're not getting Jalen Brunson off the ball as much, we got a lot of problems. When Karl Anthony Towns can't hit a fucking free throw, we got a fucking problem. When your bench didn't contribute a damn thing, pretty much. Your bench, they outperformed this series, but this game was not the best. And yeah, Brunson struggled, Cat struggled, OG Anunoby was decent. But the Pacers, they did their thing, and yeah, first off, shout out to the Pacers. They won the series. Yeah, they were just the better team. They played better, played harder, played faster. Seemed like they wanted it more. And yeah, that's all I got to say. There's nothing I need to add about this. So you can go ahead whenever you're ready, Dan.
Um, I mean, just raw reaction. This basically everything we said the Knicks couldn't do yesterday and Thursday and game 4 and game 3 and game 2 and game 1, basically the whole series. Everything we told them not to do, they did. Um, I mean, look, I think the biggest problem with this team tonight, aside from the turnovers, aside from the piss poor execution offensively, besides the stupid fucking inability to inbound a basketball, which is taught in high school, how you can inbound a basketball properly, right? Despite all that, the biggest takeaway is the inconsistency offensively from this team. The amount of wide open shots and the amount of chances this Knick team had off of turnovers and missed Indiana Pacer shots and the inability to not convert on those is what cost them here. Because you cannot trade past the Indiana Pacers. You can't make up a 12-point deficit on them because even if you go on an 11-0 run, you still can't stop them offensively. Right? It's the inability to execute that lost them this series offensively. Jalen Brunson can do it by himself. I firmly believe that, but not without help. Right? You needed Karl Anthony Towns tonight, and he didn't show up. So when he doesn't show up, you need Mikal Bridges show up, and he didn't show up. So it's like the problem with this Knicks team is that they don't have any consistent way of scoring other than let's hope Towns has a good night, which is just that doesn't work. You know it doesn't work. I know it doesn't work. And the amount of times that the Knicks would dribble into a quadruple team in the paint every single possession just goes to show the lack of consistent offense and IQ offensively, and the inability to score, have somewhat of a creative scoring idea, right? everybody on the Pacers could create their own shot and break down any defense. The Knicks have dribble penetrators and pick and roll. And Indiana figured that out. And Rick Carlisle is a great coach. He's a fantastic coach. He made the adjustment. He knew what he had to do. He knew how to set up his defense, and they won the game. Is Indiana a great defensive team? No. But do they know how to put pressure on a ball and how to create double teams and how to create turnovers? When you keep doing it consistently offensively, yes, you will fall into their traps. The Knicks should, you cannot keep falling into their traps. The lack of in-game adjustments and lack of even on-the-court adjustments without having to call a timeout is what's killed them this series. If you really think about it, it was the offensive execution late in games and third quarters that cost them. You can make gripes about defenses, you can make gripes about turnovers, but I think at the end of the day, one of the biggest issues was the lack of offensive ingenuity and the lack of offensive creativity and a lack of offensive consistency in the series. You can score on this Indiana Pacer team, and yet somehow they didn't. That's a lack of offense and a lack of poor offensive choices and lack of inconsistency. This Knicks team was inconsistent the entire series. And I mean, am I surprised? No. Am I upset? Yeah. But the Knicks got outplayed. That cannot happen. That cannot happen. Karl-Anthony Towns didn't show up. That cannot happen in a Game 6 elimination game. Just can't. Mikal Bridges was inconsistent. The bench wasn't good enough. There were problems with this Knicks team from the jump that we came into the season having genuine concerns about, and they got proven right in this game. And it cost them. Everything that was a problem with this Knicks team came out during that third quarter, and they could not recover. This is an organizational blame. It's an it's blame gets placed on everybody. There is no saving grace. There is no what if this. This was a healthy Knicks squad. It was a healthy Pacers squad. The Knicks got outplayed, got out offensed, and got out defensed, which is the biggest surprising factor. The blame goes on the players. It goes on Tom Thibodeau. It goes on Leon Rose. This team was not constructed to beat Indiana. It was constructed to beat Boston, and that was the mistake. You didn't have to beat Boston. You had to beat Indiana, and you couldn't do that.
I mean, I'm watching the game, and shout out to Andrew Nembhard. Played a great defensive game. And they just didn't have any answers for the pressure of Indiana. They had no answer for that.
But Lewis,
Just nothing.
was it a creative and ingenuitive and like a never before seen press?
No, this has been done
No.
many years. I would probably say since the start of basketball.
Why can't we set a pick, as soon as Brunson inbounds the ball to get Nembhard off of him? That didn't happen once this entire game. The fact that everything was from a half-court offense is a problem. Right? It's a problem. The fact that you can't adjust to it when it's been going on for 4 quarters and the majority of the series is a problem. This was my problem tonight. It's not like Rick Carlisle made this complex, layered defensive game plan. It was a simple press. Set a pick. Get him off of him. Create switches. Give him space. There was none of that. As soon as Brunson went into the paint, there were 4 pieces around him, and they took the ball away. Oh, turnover. Oh, now nobody's in the backcourt because everybody's in the front court. Easy two. It was a simple game plan from Indiana. There wasn't anything complex about it. There wasn't anything unique about it. And it's not like Indiana has superstars that took over the game. Halliburton's great. Siakam's great. Are they elite? Fringe? Are they a LeBron level? No. Are they a Shy level? Are they a Jokic? Are they a Giannis? No. They're great players that play in a great system, and they shoot the ball really well. You could still beat that. You have answers for that. And the Knicks just didn't.
I think they're going to have to take a real hard look at who the new coach or potential new coach could be at the New York Knicks. I truly believe this. I felt like Tom Thibodeau, he's done a good job. Don't get me wrong. This Knicks team has been in the playoffs, I feel like, for the most part of his tenure, right? And he's, gotten players to rally around him and to, buy into his culture, right? But at some point, there has to be conversations about, can we get over that hump with you running the ship? And they've shown that they can't yet. So I do expect there to be, whether it's in the media or like within the Knicks organization, there will be talks about, should we just fire Tom Thibodeau and get a guy to, have a better system in place that could beat most teams and who's more creative in the way he uses his rotations and things like that. There's gonna be those talks now, and Tom Thibodeau officially, I feel like, is on the hot seat.
I would do it for one guy and one guy only. Mike Malone. Other than that, I don't feel any coach can do the job that Tom Thibodeau did or do a different job that Tom Thibodeau did. I firmly believe that. I've always been a Tibbs defender. I didn't feel like he was the problem, especially tonight. I didn't feel like he was the problem. Was he a contributor in it? Yeah, but was he the main reason? No. But I feel like if there's one guy who I truly believe would do a better job and create a better winning game plan and mentality and coaching scheme, it'd be Mike Malone. That's the only way that I'm going to be behind that. If you know for a fact you can get Mike Malone in the building, and you know for a fact he will come here for 5 years, I would say sign the contract now and fire Tibbs. If you don't know that for sure, I think you just keep sticking it out with Tibbs for another year. Because I do not believe he is the ultimate problem with this team. I just feel like that's just how I feel about him. I like him as a coach. I do. I think he's a decent coach. Is he the best coach in the league? No. Is he the worst coach in the league? No. Does he make mistakes? Yes. Does he have great games? Yes. I think he's fine as a coach. But if you talk about a coach that can elevate the team to the next level, the only coach I see is Mike Malone. Anybody else, I think they do the same job. The same exact job.
Yeah, fair point. I lean more on the side to don't fire Tibbs. So, but I mean, we'll see. It's now the Knicks off season. I just, for me, I don't even think it comes down to the players that they had. I truly believe it comes down to just the way that they game plan for this. Like the first quarter, right? You go back into the huddle and you're like, all right, they're pressuring us a fuck ton. What can we do? We could set more screens. We could get Jalen Brunson, our primary guy who we want to score, off the damn ball. Have Josh Hart be a facilitator and play more of that role. We could have Cat be mainly in the mid-range paint area because shooting threes just ain't his forte right now. And we can have Mikal Bridges run around the three-point line, see what happens, you know. But, I mean, the turnovers for me, man, it was just, dude, because, like, they had the opportunities. And Mitchell Robinson, yeah, congrats to him because he single-handedly, at least in my opinion, when he was on the floor, gave the Knicks a lot of hope when it comes to beating this Indiana Pacers team, just by the amount of chances that they got to score the basketball. So shout out to Mitchell Robinson. Yeah, this for me was a game planning issue and an adjustment issue. Like they couldn't adjust to the pressure at all, and they crumbled under the pressure. Whether they were getting fouled or not, I don't think that matters. Still committed the turnover, right? You still, couldn't get your shots off, and you still got stuck at half court, right? And they're hedging hard on screens, right? They're not in drop coverage. Karl Anthony Towns. Yeah, the Pacers had a good game plan, and the Knicks just could not adjust whatsoever at all.
Yep. And look, I think it just also comes down to execution. The Knicks had a 20-point lead in Game 1. Had a 14-point lead in Game 2. Could not close those games out. And the Pacers played perfect basketball in those two games. If the Knicks had better offensive execution, maybe they win one of those two games. We have a different conversation right now. I think just the poor offensive execution and the poor defensive execution in both those games is what ultimately led to what happened. So because I just feel with a more consistent scorer on the floor, somebody not named Towns, maybe it's somebody in the offseason, you know what you're going to get from Brunson. He's going to get his 25 every game. You know the pace. You know Halliburton and Siakam are getting 25 every game. The Knicks don't have that level of consistency on the floor. Is there somebody in the offseason who they can get that will be a consistent scorer on this team? And that alongside Brunson will both share 25 points and you can make up the else elsewhere. Because right now, Towns is too inconsistent. Mikal and OG, too inconsistent. Hart's gonna be what Hart is. The bench is too inconsistent. There's no consistency on this team offensively. The Pacers, they scored almost 100 points every game. Scored almost 115 points every game. This is what they do. They have a level of offensive consistency that the Knicks could not reach. So it doesn't matter about defense, doesn't matter about, how you execute, how you game plan. If you don't execute it, you have no chance in any of these games. The only time they executed their game plan was Game 5. And maybe the end of Game 3. But you still have to play 4 more games, 5 more games. And in those games, they didn't execute. Well, that falls on coaching, that falls on the players, that falls on the front office. I think it falls on all three.
Well, in all fairness, the Knicks did make the conference final, so that's pretty cool. So, clap it up for the season they had.
Objectively, they did what the expectation was. To meet Boston in a conference final. They meet Boston, they beat Boston. That was their plan this whole year. Was that if we got to Boston, we have to beat them, and they did. Just they weren't built for Indiana. They were not built for Indiana.
They weren't built for the cornfields in Indiana.
No, they were not.
What a shit thing.
So who knows? Maybe it's just a bad matchup. And if they play the Cavaliers, or they play the Bucks, or they play Whoever else was played Orlando, whoever was in the playoffs, maybe it's a different conversation. Maybe it was just a bad matchup for the Knicks. But you go into next year, you got to build for this Indiana team because they're the best team in the East. Cleveland's soft, Boston's hurt. It's in the Bucks. How you're not going to have Giannis? So, in my opinion, Indiana's probably going to be the team to beat in the East. They've proven that now 2 years in a row. Boston probably, if Boston was healthy, I would probably say they're also up there. But this Indiana team probably beats. I think they beat Boston. If Boston beats the Knicks, I think Indiana still wins. I do. I think it's close here, but I think Indiana will still pull away with the win. So yeah, I think the Knicks have to retool. I don't think it's a rebuild. I don't think it's a total tear down. It's still a good Knick team. You still paid guys their contracts. So you're not in cap hell. You can make moves. You have some trade pieces still somehow. They're still can build a team that can make it final, but not this team. Not this team.
Well, anything else to add? That's gonna do it for me.
I promise when we do the NBA Finals preview, I'll be more fair to Indiana. I don't even want to look at anything yellow. This fucking fella.
Are the walls yellow? Or are they like a white
No,
cream?
they're like a beige.
Beige? Alright, fair enough.
They're light brown.
Do I have anything yellow in my room? That fucking manila folder. I'm gonna fucking throw that across the room. Alright. This
My doorknobs.
this,
Should I break my
this sticker
doorknob?
on my hat. Oh, my fucking doorknob. Yeah. Gotta paint it now.
Yeah, you gotta paint the doorknobs.
Alright. Well, at least I got the Puerto Rican flag behind me. I got red, white, and blue. It's pretty good. I'll keep it. Yeah.
Yeah. Our team's not having a good night tonight.
No, they're not. The Yankees just got fucking smacked. How are the Mets doing?
Oh, they won today. They're for. Hey, it's the summer of baseball, guys.
Yay.
It's June 1st. It's all baseball from here on out.
There we go.
Let's go.
Hello Kitty
We get to-
bobblehead night. I gotta get there fucking 8:00 in the morning to line up. People really want these damn bobbleheads, especially Hello Kitty. Jeez.
Yeah.
Line in the subway? Come on, guys. We gotta chill out with that, man.
Hey man, don't disrespect. Oh my God, it was 18-2. Jeez.
Well, that's gonna do it for us. Save us the embarrassment. Shout out to the Indiana. Good luck in the finals. And shout out to the Knicks for making it to the Eastern Conference Finals, even though you played terrible in Game 6. So shout out to the Knicks. That's the Get Back signing off. We'll see you guys when we see you. Take care. Peace.